In the shocking second part of the latest series from YouTube's Crowned Prince of Cringe, Shane Dawson, is called The New World of Jeffree Star, in which Shane gives his pale, slender friend a platform to explain how, yes, things might look a little different from a year ago when he sold his $20 million mansion in LA to move into a relatively humble-looking home and open a yak ranch in Wyoming. But that doesn't mean he isn't thriving. See, he allowed his popularity on YouTube to die as part of a great plan. His makeup brand has become significantly less relevant by choice, and multiple members of his staff have quit because he's the world's greatest boss. I sound like I'm reporting for a Fox News affiliate in North Korea. Meanwhile, Shane listens tearfully, presumably while going, "Propaganda? I hardly know her." Actually, no, that's probably too basic for Shane. He would spice it up with a racially insensitive accent. So anyway, what a fun group of people to watch for 52 minutes. But actually, it's unfair of me to hold these two adults accountable for their past behavior, because they moved away from Los Angeles, and that makes them better people. Look at everyone. Shane's fiance, Ryland, is finally sticking up for himself. Shane himself is once again flirting with the idea of doing the bare minimum to look presentable. And Jeffree has that yak farm, where he has created a disturbing hierarchy to determine which animals live and which die. Are we in North Korea? There's also like some sort of eyeshadow they want to show us, but that's the least clear part of the whole story. So grab your open carry firearm license and let's hop on a jet to Wyoming and visit the Star Yak Ranch, where the people are real, the tears are fake, and the yaks live in fear until they are steak. Get ready to dream up the names for some unreleased eyeshadow shades in another Shane Dawson Goes Down on the Range installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello, television viewers. My name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we grind it up, bone, cartilage, gristle and all, to sell it as frozen meat online. That way we can look at each pound and say, Shane did that, or he really thought he did that. So far, in breaking down this series, I've contracted a virus and it's called anger. Before we get into it, make sure you click that subscribe button if you're not already part of the Nick D community. Also, I've got merch and a Patreon. Enamel pins are still available and shipping super fast. Shane is still at it, you know, serving Wyoming farmer. You can tell on this ad read for Buffy, which is a name I love to say, he's trying to give like, I was at a farm this week vibes, which, whatever, you were at a farm. It sucked to watch. And as with the first installment, The New World of Jeffree Star begins in the past with some archival footage from a vlog that you've already seen and weren't entertained by then.
I've been avoiding all the spoiler videos, all the leaks.
I think I saw it from the road and it's crazy.
I'm really scared. I don't know what to expect. From what I've heard, it's a cast.
That's Mario and Luigi Snapchatting their journey to fight Bowser. Just kidding, because Jeffree Star is no Princess Peach. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he had a tattoo of her. Do what you want with your body, but those forearms look like poorly coded MySpace pages from like the cool emo kids in 2007. It feels like when you wake up in a nightmare and then you're still having a nightmare. We're going back to the house tour of 2019. Seriously? And like, if you're gonna rely so much on file footage, let's call it, I really wish it would be more visually distinct. Like, Lord knows Shane loves that scanning lines of an old television filter that we saw all throughout the conspiracy campaign. Something like that would give us more like of an idea of whether I'm watching present day or the past, other than like that stupid lower third text where he's like, the dawn of day. And you're like, what is that even? Shut up. I gotta say, I was just watching back the video for my first part and I was like yelling at these people. I have to limit my telling people to shut up. They have the right to say what they want to say, and I'm gonna say something back. Shane is laying it on thick immediately. It begins with Chris and him talking about the FaceTime call Jeffree just clued Shane in on, a very big deal. Jeffree and Shane are acting as though they found the Ark of the Covenant, and now Jeffree has decided he's going to reveal it to the world and prove the existence of Jesus. That's literally how, like, why are they acting like it's a bad thing that Jeffree wants to do a project? Oh, I just remembered what it is they're referring to. Spoiler alert, not a big deal, but I won't really spoil it because I want you to see how, like, existential crisis mode this puts Shane in.
It went from like, oh, let's go see the yaks and like, look at the palette that we were like, not gonna sell. And now it's literally like a very big deal. He's trusting me to be a part of this moment. I am not ready for this. I was just like trying to make a stupid video.
And you did it! Congratulations! You could have stopped there. But now, somehow your stupid video is splitting into 3 stupid videos, like a cancer cell. Supposedly because you just love editing so much. Well, if you love editing, you should treat her with respect. You can't just use her like a tool that helps control your image, because that's supposed to be Ryland's job. How many hostages do you need? Release one of them. It would be like if Bowser had 2 Princess Peaches trapped in his castle. Sorry, I don't know why I had to reuse that reference when I have a lot of other Nintendo-based kidnap fantasies to pull from. I want that cartoon dog from Duck Hunt to grab me by the neck and shake me. For example, that's just one example. So as I've complained about on many other of these series, Shane spoils like the next episode with the B-roll that he cannot help himself from putting in. Like, we see these flashes of Shane and Jeffree out on the ranch. Shane is wearing this costume, and it's like, first of all, seeing Shane in an outfit is so not providing the jazz and the visual entertainment that he thinks it is. You'll see that Ryland does the same thing, where they're like, let's put on weird clothes, and somehow that's a personality. But it's always like, you're just making a series of teasers. Now you're teasing us with this footage that it's not gonna be funny, and we've already seen it. And you wouldn't need to tease Jeffree Star's appearance if you just started this whole series 40 minutes later than it starts. Like, there's entire lifetimes and eons of nonsense filler. Just start the thing at the most interesting point. That's very important. Then he wouldn't have to act as though he's terrified of this phone call like the hot lady in a horror movie. And shame on you, Jeffree Star, for scaring Shane via FaceTime. Turning on your camera, wearing that ghost face mask. Oh, wait, that's your actual face with your hair pulled back. My bad. I just saw the slender jaw with 2 soulless eyes and 0 eyebrows, and I thought, this has to be a prank. No, I'm just kidding. Jeffree Star has a very unique look, like many other queer icons in history, so can't fault him for that. Shane and Ryland are fighting. It goes to 6 hours earlier, and Shane's like, "Rah!" That's basically it. And they have to get ready to go to Wyoming. They are gonna leave the dogs. I don't know. Shane lets it slip that I guess Jeffree used to have a full-time Pomeranian handler, and he quit, as did his former assistant Maddie, but now she's back hanging out with him. I don't think it's that unusual for those employees who have left over the span of 5 years, but I don't think it's like good the way Shane makes it sound. I mean, like, she quit. It's like, I can imagine wanting to quit. Also, Shane seems out of touch because he has these like Gucci shoes that Jeffree gave him during that Becoming Him for a Day episode, and he's like, I love these, I wear them at the gym. It's like, ooh, you're wearing very expensive shoes to the gym. But don't worry, because he's a different person now. He wears fashion from Target.
I wanted to be bold because we were going to see Jeffree, but can I do this? It's a little gay, but I feel like, what would Jeffree do? You look great. You do look great. I should change.
No, I think you look great. Don't change.
No, yeah, it's a good outfit. You look great in your little Muppet glasses, like if John Lennon had a baby with the guy who shot John Lennon. Chris is giggle McGigglegoobers on this one. He's like laughing from behind the camera, being like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I love traveling. Oh, really? Do you? Oh, poor Chris. Always with the graphic t-shirt. Okay, so if you recall in the last episode, Shane Dawson's major crisis was that the inner part of his pants wore off, which is something he chooses to be extra creepy about in part 2.
Did you notice something today about me that's different?
The jacket?
No.
What?
Keep going.
No, I hate this game. I'm scared.
No, look at my crotch.
So uncomfortable. He's like, didn't I promise you I could get it semi-hard within 7 days? That's why I was listening to Radio Disney for the whole plane ride. Like, ew, don't do this. But he's just showing that he bought new pants. We saw the vlog where he got that MTV shirt, which they do actually sell at Target. And I'm starting to really stan Ryland now that he's finding his voice.
New year, new me. White jacket. Don't pan down. No, I'm kidding. I'm confident this year, guys. That's my thing.
Hearing, this is a new me. New pants, new jacket, new life.
Same shirt.
Score. Shane says this in basically every video he's put out since his cancellation. Why? Why is his only personal narrative that he's some new and improved Shane? And it's all based on minor, superficial changes he makes? Like, congratulations, you turned over a new leaf, and all it's done is reveal a dirt floor. Like, at this point, you need to stop fucking around with the leaves and just find a way to move off the barnyard entirely. I'm not really sure that any of Shane's claims of progress will ever feel sincere unless he does something actionable to help the communities that he's harmed. There's something all of us can do to give back, and I don't believe I've ever heard him use his platform like that. As we come up on the holidays, I want to focus on getting people gifts that also give back. And as someone who is often a last-minute shopper, I'm so grateful for the sponsor of today's video, Established Titles, which will be a great last-minute gift solution for many people on my list because it's not only fun and cool, but it actually helps preserve the beautiful and natural woodlands of Scotland and supporting global reforestation efforts, which is a huge component of battling climate change. Established Titles allows you to participate in a project that's based on the historic custom where landowners in Scotland were referred to as lairds, or in English, ladies and lords. With their title packs, you're given at least 1 square foot of land. It's on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and it comes with its own unique plot number and a certificate with a seal that is perfect for gifting. I already made my mom a lady to celebrate our Scottish roots, and she was totally thrilled with it. It's really an unexpected way to surprise someone, and then I loved being able to explain the meaning behind it, which is Established Titles plants 1 tree for every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to help support reforestation around the world. You or the recipient of this gift can use your official lady or lordship title on things like your credit cards or your plane tickets. I first heard of this when Scott Disick from the Kardashians did it, but Established Titles adds this benefit by supporting the forests. I also have my own plot of land from Established Titles, and around the first 200 people to order using my link below will be within walking distance of my plot. We'll be making our own little neighborhood. Let's have a block party. I'll bring the haggis. Again, it makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive Black Friday sale right now. Plus, if you use the code LORDNICK, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/LordNick to get your gifts now and support the channel. Again, I believe that Ryland is the real hero's journey that we're witnessing throughout this saga. He used to just sit and take it while Shane made dig after dig. So it's satisfying morally to see him be like, oh yeah, you changed so much. You look like an entirely different lazy slob. And then he puts on his little Fraggle Rock glasses and looks out the window like, this is my fight song, take back my life song. Their relationship is not an example of romance or love that I want to emulate. Like, they always kind of just seem more like college roommates who pretend they're best friends to avoid having to, like, make real friends. You know the one.
Creating this with you felt so magical, it felt so right, and I think the world deserves to see it.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this voiceover was completely scripted and staged. The audio just sounds so clean, and the words so contrived. Like, what is the context? Is this a recording from that mysterious phone call about the mysterious topic that caused Shane to soil himself? Like, was it a voicemail or simply his inner monologue as he's penning a letter to a beloved off fighting the Great War? Then again, Jeffree always was quite the gabber. Like, he can make himself sound very serious and make things sound very important, just like I do when I overpronounce the T's on the word important. Shane and all arrive in Denver. This is where they're transferring out to Casper, Wyoming. I'm like, girl, these states are getting a little red for my taste, and we got Ryland out here in Gucci slippers. Let's protect him.
Okay, I'll see you soon. But just know that this feels so right because it's with you.
Jeffree, please, all this sweet talk is making me feel like I'm back in high school, being lured to a train station by an adult who introduced themselves in an AOL chat room made for teens. But don't worry, this situation is obviously much different because Shane and Jeffree are both inappropriate grown-ups. So as far as I'm concerned, it's choo-choo, all aboard the creepy adult express, you know what I mean? Choo-choo! Why the fist pump? Part of it, it's part of it. We go back to Shane packing the concept palette that got canceled after the conspiracy. It was going to be called the something something, so he's bringing it with him. Shane's sweating through his jacket. Oh, you can tell they had quite a long layover because Chris starts getting fancy with the camera work.
I know that you've told me this a million times, that everything goes in cycles, and I don't know, I just feel like I wasn't sure.
Way to get creative with those smooth moves, Chris. I don't think we've ever had such a cinematic view of Shane Dawson's hunchback. My hunchback's turned up. See, stuff like what you're about to see convinces me that there's like story production going on behind the scenes. Either, I think it's probably just Shane himself self-producing, which is not uncommon. Like if there were a fourth person on this trip who actually was a story producer, they might encourage Shane to do things like this so that knowing that they could edit and call back to that dumb other series. Now that's great editing, because it perfectly illustrates how even after all of these years, Shane is still an energy vampire. There's that epidemic sound music again. I'm in dispute with them over several clips from Shane Dawson videos, because they are constantly trying it. You can tell that this was like Maroon 5-esque, and then he had one earlier that was like Charlie Puth's cousin, you know, it's all very, it has the mood, it has a vibe of something more popular. Jeffree finally arrives and picks them up from Casper, Wyoming's airport. He is twirling, like he's like voguing on the baggage return conveyor belts, standing up in his all-electric Hummer. And you'll notice that they don't do private jets anymore because Taylor Swift ruined that for us private jet owners. Jeffree also whips out his huge military gun with a silencer, and he's like, you can drive with this on the dashboard in this state. And it's like, that's really cool. Do you know how many people die from gun violence every day? Do you know that school shootings and open shooters are an epidemic in this country? Like, why are you? I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool. When people can handle and carry guns so easily, it makes them easier to get into the hands of people who are gonna do bad things. People don't need guns. F your guns. I don't even think they need guns to kill the yaks. They just like beat them with a club. It also helps tenderize their fibrous meats. So Jeffree's going on and on about how much simpler his life is since he downsized, sold all of his Birkins and expensive jewelry for millions of dollars. Seems like he was liquidating a lot of assets and moving to much cheaper land. So yeah, that would be really calming for some people.
Real hard-working town of cool people that just appreciate what they have. It's just been, I don't know, it's magical. I never would have thought I would be here at all.
Aw, that was Shane's cue to make his wet diaper face of emotion. He's like, oh, I haven't pretended to almost cry since I blew out the crotch of my jeans. But this time, he's crying non-tears of joy. Because he's a sensitive soft boy empath who is just so happy to see his rich friend getting richer by slaughtering animals and supporting the NRA. I can't. Jeffree only lived in his like a 7-bedroom mansion for a full year because I think they pretty much got in there and then his boyfriend/partner was like, enjoy your huge house, I'm out. Jeffree also touches on some other headlines that I forgot about since the pandemic, like when he was in a car accident with a friend and apparently had no broken bones, but at the time, based on the Snapchat stories and stuff from Jeffree, I thought he was probably like one of those people made with joints points out of paper, you know. I thought he was a battered and bruised bag of bones, but luckily, he didn't have to have any pins in his spine. Listen to me, I sound like Meredith Grey.
It's crazy, I had mild scoliosis as a kid, so the doctor told me, hey, compared to your old x-rays, this accident straightened your back out, actually, a little more.
That's crazy. Have you considered getting hit by a bus to see if it fixes your compulsive lying? Seems like you're having good luck with these. They're actually correcting medical issues. It's a free chiropractor. I'm not disputing that story because I'm not a doctor. I also had mild scoliosis in 7th grade and it just went away on its own. So I guess my body is its own car accident. So Shane discusses wanting to get a kid. They see the Staryak Ranch gate, which we've already seen. Jeffree also explains that he does TikTok now, which is actually a better way to reveal his makeup collections than YouTube is, which used to be the #1 way he would drive sales.
So are you gonna like show me what a Jeffree TikTok is?
Yeah,
Like,
we're doing together.
like I don't know anything about it.
So it's easy, you just find one like, okay, well there's one that's training that's like about the past, so Shane's here, it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna be in no makeup, pull out the conspiracy palette, knock on it. I'll be in a full conspiracy look and Shane will be right next to me like, hi, let's go inside.
I just got chills.
And not just his everyday diet root beer diarrhea chills either. It was because Jeffree just crafted the greatest story that humankind has ever told so casually, like it was nothing. First I'm gonna be like, whoosh, and then we're gonna show him the face paint that we picked out colors of, and it would be like, whoosh, but then you take this and it goes sparkle, sparkle, and then it'll zoop, 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 and a serve. And then suddenly a whirlwind happens and you and I are sitting on Santa's lap and you look at me like, I told you so, honey. How is that giving anyone chills? It sounds like you just described the dream I had when I mistook that bottle of melatonin tablets for Sweet Tarts. I thought it was just like a new, boring flavor. I love Sweet Tarts, and the chewy Sweet Tarts minis, woo! Those will get me going. Jeffree and Chris, this is their first time meeting, because before it was Andrew as their cameraman.
I know we don't know each other, but I've never drank before. But all my friends do, so I don't know how to make that. But I do have that and beer, I know that.
Oh my god.
I hope Chris asked for a Michelada. Either way, from out here, it looked like Jeffree just was like, I know we don't know each other, but I racially profiled your favorite drink for you. He said, I don't drink, so I can't figure out how to personally mix 2 liquids together for you, but I can call one of my alcoholic friends. Maybe they can help. Viva la Mexico. Chris is Peruvian, Jeffree, and you would know that if you watched the first part of the first episode of the Shane Dawson podcast. You would also know that he's afraid of sharks. He happens to be attracted to men who look just like Shane Dawson. And he also said that he's a grower and not a shower. So, you know, it starts to make sense why usually the camera operator makes it part of their job to never be seen or heard. Chris, sweetie, I wanted you to stop giggling from behind the camera. That doesn't mean I wanted you to start giggling in front of the camera while also talking about which Disney cartoon characters you'd let pound you. Like, we're somehow still missing the target in terms of Hollywood appeal. So Jeff the makeup chef, he's like giving a life update on who knows what. Like, they just love showing footage of him from old videos. And I don't think that's fun. Honestly, once the whole squad lands in Wyoming, the rest of the video is pretty much noise. And I mean that literally.
What is that?
Yeah.
No, those are grasshoppers.
It's really
Literally don't hear anything.
Well, that's your fault for living in an area with wind and crickets. We can't criticize Shane for not being able to hear people talk. He's been too busy evolving and changing as a person to spend $300 on wireless microphones. Like, this is the millionth series that you claim to be proud of, but the audio is actually hard to, like, it hurts. You know the Shane and Jeffree stans are gonna be like, well, so what? I love Shane's videos even though it doesn't have perfect audio. I still think the content is fun to watch. Okay, so fun to watch, even on mute. To me, it's very unprofessional to spend 1 to 5 years gathering footage and then another trimester editing it into overly long episodes, putting so much effort into generic pop songs and decorative fonts, but never one single brain cell towards capturing good audio. This is what my onboard camera microphone sounds like if I didn't have this boom mic. Hello, welcome to my echoey, hard to hear hellscape. Can I interest you in a pumpkin spice scone or sous feed egg bite. Like, I can't, the camera's too far away for this to be good. Imagine wind. Imagine the wind. As I've said, but it's worth repeating because I think it's so important in video production, the on-camera microphone is almost never a good idea. Not only because they're lower quality and hidden behind a pinhole and closer to the cranking of the lens than the actual person talking, but the camera is almost never where the source of sound you want is. Like, my camera has to be over there, and I want my voice picked up here. And furthermore, it's a mistake to think that bad audio is gonna be forgiven. According to studies, most people will forgive a difficult to see image well before they can tolerate hard to hear sound. That's definitely the case with me watching this. Like, I would rather stab myself in the ears than watch this. Yeah, that logic seems to track. Oh, I have to drink this. I'm driving to LA and it's already 5:57 p.m. Mama. Oh, I just know that sound's gonna be gross in that microphone. So Jeffree goes through all of the palette launches that have happened since the conspiracy palette, and it really shocked me. It was like so many, and I remember 2 or 3 of them because they were controversial for one reason or another. So that just kind of illustrates how it's hard to, you know, catch the buzz about his makeup like we used to, similar to how Kylie Cosmetics is suffering right now. In fact, Estee Lauder reported a loss, which normally in times of economic downturn, they call it like the lipstick effect, where if more people can't afford high ticket or high price items, they treat themselves to smaller luxuries like new shades of lipstick. So like businesses make more money with like a $7 to $10 lipstick, while cars and vacations and houses stop selling as fast. But Jeffree doesn't acknowledge any of that. He's like, the brand is still great.
God, I just realized that you haven't looked at your phone once. When we would hang out, it was this.
The fear of, oh my God, what's gonna happen to me next doesn't exist anymore.
Me neither, but that's because, like, what else could happen to me?
I know.
All right, and what?
You could get a chronic illness, or experience poverty, or commit manslaughter. This is not a wish list, I'm just answering his over-dramatic and out-of-touch question. Like, what did happen to you? You lost a good portion of your online audience, but not nearly enough to be struggling for money. Far worse things can and do happen to people every single day, Shane. That's how life is. Like, why do you want to play the victim for being bad at your job? It's really hard to feel bad for you when you're sitting there with a Gucci cum rag in your pocket. What else could possibly even happen to me? Well, for starters, I'm pretty sure Ryland is gonna leave you at the altar, so brace yourself for that. Only Shane. No, not only Shane, but of course, leave it to Shane to perpetuate racial stereotypes and speak inappropriately to underage children and then complain that he's the one being negatively affected. Like, try being society. In fact, Shane is always so desperate to seem like the most unlucky or unfairly treated person in the room when he's usually the one with the most privilege. Isn't that always the case? He was probably that kid in school who acted like he was the only one in 7th grade to understand personal tragedy and loss because his grandma died earlier that year. Sweetheart, we all have grandmas who died, and if they haven't died, they will soon. Ooh, I'm gonna jot that down for my Christmas cards that I'm handing out to children I don't know in the toy section of Target. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Ah! It's November, y'all. Down on the range. So yeah, everyone's different, but what we don't know is, at the end of the episode here, is anything at all. I think I said in the last video that they decided they're gonna be releasing the palette, but now I don't even know that that's true. And then there's this twist, which lets me know that's not what the news was on the phone that Shane was acting so grave about.
Okay.
Oh my God, I haven't seen this in 2 years now.
Okay.
All right, let's see it for real.
Oh my God, this is weird. This is like the reveal. I've been waiting 2 years for this.
Shane could not be any more transparent about how much he thinks his work depends on having a reveal, since he's kind of been trying to frame every single event that's happened as a reveal for one reason or another. Sometimes it seems like it's to build anticipation, and other times to make Chris videotape his crotch. Oh, this is the reveal, this is the reveal, this is the make or break moment that I'll put in the last 30 seconds of the last video. Otherwise, buckle up, Buttercup. But this is where, you know, Shane is like, all right, let's get down to business. We flew all the way the f out here, Jeffree. Give us the money shot.
When did you want to talk about
Quitting YouTube?
Oh?
Might be time to hang up my button.
Shane can't handle it. He's like, Starfree, no, you can't quit. The world can't go on unless the two of us, the magical makeup soul siblings, upload a new piece of digital garbage every week so that we can convince people to buy a piece of physical garbage. Sponsored by Buffy, Soul Sister. I don't understand why Shane is so upset. Like, it's not like either of you upload frequently enough for this to make a big cultural impact.
No one cares about YouTube. Not one single person goes to watch it for enjoyment or fun anymore. Like the old days, even Maddie, everyone would go home and go on the couch, and the pandemic created Paramount, Showtime, Disney Plus. YouTube fizzled out. No one cares.
I mean, for you it did, right? That's why you moved out of your mansion to sell meat in Wyoming, looking like Mia Farrow of the prairie. But anyway, thanks for that insight, babe. I keep forgetting that in addition to being a trendy TikToker, makeup mogul, and meat purveyor, you're also a business analyst with the ability to just pull untrue facts from thin air. Here's how YouTube completely fizzled out in 2021 to 2022. It's the second most visited website on the planet with 1.7 billion unique monthly visitors, and 62% of people with an account visit every day. Also, 80% of parents with kids 11 and under say that their kids watch YouTube too. So, I mean, it's Generation YouTube, sis. But sure, I guess it's more convenient for the narrative to be that nobody even watches YouTube anymore. TikTok's where it's at. That makes a much more comfortable reason for Jeffree Star to be quitting other than YouTube is thriving and he just lost relevancy on the platform. No, YouTube fizzled out and that's why you're quitting, based on your careful research, such as your former assistant Maddie agreeing with you. This feels like what I just saw David Dobrik saying about why he's quitting YouTube. It's like, we've done everything that there is to do. It's like, if that's how you want to spin it.
Every makeup review, every tutorial, every video, every surgery, we did makeup in hot air balloons and on a raft in Montana and Yellowstone. I dipped a beauty blender in Yellowstone water and did my makeup. Like, who could top any of that? I already did it all.
Out of all the things on that list, why did he sound the most impressed with himself about putting river water on his face? He yelled the word river water at us. It was scary. Besides, that's not really a stretch. Like, at the beginning of this series, I literally thought he was an albino water moccasin. So interesting that people think they've done everything there is to do with their platform when no. Like, when have you helped create space for people of color or minorities, like the ones that Jeffree has a recorded history of offending? When have you done a charity stream for the Black Lives Matter movement, or even talked about trans issues or his gender identity or different problems that face any given community that he's a part of, you know? I'm just saying. David Dobrik too, it's like, you played pranks, went to Europe and almost killed your friend? That's not everything to me. Like, there's not a lot of great stuff in there. Seeing all those YouTube video clips though does remind me how, like, now looking back, it does seem like, damn, YouTubers were desperate, because Jeffree would do that all the time. He'd be like, doing my makeup in the trunk of my car. Like, okay, seems humid, but I still don't know what this has to do with the palette, and I'm gonna remain not know until I watch the third installment after a little break, because this is giving me a sore throat seeing Jeffree think he's important. But look at the cliffhanger.
Time to Jenna Marbles and do something else.
Or you could even do a Buzz Aldrin and blast yourself into space with a rocket. Like, I don't get why this has to be treated as though it's sad news. Jeffree Star has uploaded maybe 12 YouTube videos in the last year, and they are getting far less views than before, like under 1 million. And it's probably not, as he said, because Paramount Plus was invented. And what does he mean that it's time for him to do other things? Jeffree, you are literally always doing the most. He said, yep, the makeup brand is thriving, even though it's not. And I'm a yak farmer, but I don't kill the yaks except for the ones that I do. But I don't eat them, except for all the time. Also, I do TikTok now, but just beauty, no dance videos. Except for the Star Ranch shimmy in front of my prettiest yaks that I don't kill for meat. You know, just like Jenna Marbles. Like, what? She didn't do all that? I haven't heard from her. She's living a quiet life with her money and her people that she loves. Like, what the is this series? Anyway, I'm glad that I kept my cool a little bit more than the first episode, where I was ready to get a 9-iron out and go to the driving range and play some golf. No, I'm just kidding. That would be horrible. What do you think the reveal is gonna be? I think that they're just gonna show us the concept for this palette. Maybe Jeffree will be like, I want you to help me do my last YouTube video, and we're gonna make it the biggest one ever. And I'm sitting here like, can you make it under 50 minutes, please? Because I have a life. And that life involves watching all of the Hallmark Christmas movies and Netflix holiday comedies that are out on television. And Jeffree Star is coming at me out of the river like Anaconda starring Jennifer Lopez. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Shane is earnest and honest with his on-camera persona? Let me know. Also, give this video a big thumbs up. That will let me know that you don't want any delay. You want to see that third installment broken down. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. So turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when I'm a snake slithering through the river water, pissing on Jeffree Star's beauty blender. What a classy ending. Also, I've got merch available, including new enamel pins and a Patreon where you can access exclusive virtual watch parties. Those are really fun. We watch an entire movie together and there's a really fun chat every time. It's like the highlight of my month. And bonus content. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for revealing the biggest reveal of all the revelations with me today. I will see you next time.